quickly, I'd like to thank the organizers of CSPC for allowing us to run this policy simulation. So this is the first time that this is going to be run in this format. So we're very excited to be able to welcome you all here to this inaugural Arctic policy simulation. I hope that you all enjoy yourselves. I am very, very excited to see how it will go. My name is Nicole Arbour, and I'm the External Relations Manager at the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis, a research organization just outside of Vienna in Austria. And we were lucky enough to convince the CRS, for whom with Piotr, and the Institute for Science, Society and Policy with Moinca Gattinger, who will be speaking just after me, to join us to pull together this exciting activity. So, I mean, part of the logic behind this is that everyone knows that policymaking is very complex in practice, and that there are lots of different pieces that come into this. But through using this kind of a serious game, it allows us to put ourselves in the place of other people's, to put us in the place of other players, of other participants, of other humans in the policymaking process, and really think about how these things happen from a different perspective. So really pulling everybody outside of their comfort zone. So this is really also about thinking about how everything is really part of a system, and how by taking a systems approach and looking at the different levers and perspectives, we recognize that there's always trade-offs. So, and by taking the time to look through what the benefits and trade-offs of all of the situations that we involve ourselves in, we're able to make an informed decision about things that we take forward. And so with that in mind, because I want to keep this very short, I'm going to invite Moinca Gattinger, the Executive Director of the Institute for Science, Society and Policy, to say a couple of additional words of welcome to the group. And just before I do hand off, I just want to remind you that there is a survey that CSPC has asked participants to fill out. So after this is over, because you're going to be far too busy during the simulation to do it then, please do take the time to do it after. And we look forward to working with you. So happy to have you joining us. Thank you. Over to you, Moinca.
Terrific. Thanks, Nicole. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, good. As luck would have it, I had technical difficulties, so I'm not on the device I had planned to be on, but it seems to be working, so it's all good. Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you to all of you for signing up for this really interesting and as Piotr put it, crazy exercise in one of our exchanges. So as Nicole mentioned, I'm Moinca Gattinger. I'm Director of the University of Ottawa's Institute for Science, Society and Policy. We're a cross-faculty institute at the University of Ottawa. We have multiple faculty members and senior practitioner members, and you know, we really explore the links between science, society, and policy. Our strategic vision for the next 5 years is very much in line with what we're doing today, which is to help Canada transform decision-making for the grand challenges of our time. And I can think of no greater grand challenge than climate change and the impacts it's going to have across a whole host of issues, including obviously the Arctic and shipping in the Arctic, as you'll all be experiencing today. And when it comes to transforming decision making, it's so important to build links and bridges between science, society, and policy imperatives. And that's hard to do, as Nicole was mentioning. So, you know, the simulation today is really about trying to help people begin to develop the sensibilities to do that. And also, and Piotr will probably speak to this to some extent in his remarks, these sorts of simulations are used by, you know, quote unquote, real life decision makers when they're working through complex systems challenges like this. So when Nicole approached the IISSP to see if we would be interested in partnering on this, it was a very enthusiastic yes. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Brendan Frank, who is a senior research associate with us, who's been really the person shepherding the IISSP's participation through this. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Brendan. So, you know, interactive learning tools like this, as Nicole mentioned, they really give people an opportunity to step out of their regular roles to interact with issues in a real life setting, which is in the case of Arctic shipping. And this simulation, as you'll see, is extremely interesting and fascinating, and really helps people to grapple with the real world complexities of challenge, grand challenges of our time, like this. So the ISSP is really happy to be working with IIASA, with the CRS on this. I really hope that this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship between the three organizations, and that we can use this as an opportunity to see what else we can do going forward. Yes, I see that from Nicole. So without further ado, it is my great pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for today, our partner in crime in this event, Piotr Magnuszewki, who is program leader at the Center for Systems Solutions. And the CRS has really been the brains behind this in terms of the simulation. So Piotr, off to you.
Thank you very much, Nicole and Monica, for this introduction. Can I get quickly some confirmation that I can be heard well? Okay, thank you. So yeah, there's not much to add. It's been short but very comprehensive, and everything has been said. Maybe I should just quote only the ancient Chinese philosopher Xuanzhe, who said, "Tell me, and I forget. Show me, and I may remember. Engage me, and I will understand." So this is about engagement. We'll be very happy to take questions later, but we have very limited time, so we need to move right on. I would like to introduce here my colleague, Joanna Stefańska. Could you wave? Thank you. Who will be co-facilitating with me? Please say a few words.
Hello, welcome. I'm happy to be here, and I'll do my best to support Piotr with this great adventure.
Thank you. So we maybe the one thing which I should only mention to remind again that we'll be using a few technologies in parallel. And well, with all these things happening around us, I'm not sure I even want to use this word, COVID, that we have so much learning curve about making things interactive digitally, which is a challenge on its own. So I would like to ask you for how to say, patience maybe, and that may be also a learning curve here. In order to get more engaging, we have to get beyond the comfort of just talking heads on Zoom, and we have to start using the other tools, and that will be happening. You will have our full support if anything will be happening. If any problem we'll be trying to help, but we cannot probably avoid all potential problems in this online world. Technology has this that always starts, as always, from time to time, poses some problems which we need to solve. So with this spirit, without further ado, I would like to start. So Joanna, maybe you could give us some short, oh, maybe I should say that please, as you be hearing this introduction, if you are not on the Impacts platform yet, please check your email again. You should receive an invitation with all the technical details. And please try to log in during this time. And if there are any issues, please let us know here on chat so that we can handle this. So Joanna, where are we and when are we actually should be the question?
So the world is changing, and I'm taking you fast forward to the year 2034. The pandemic is over. But we're dealing with different issues: the global warming, the climate change, the economic landscape is changing, the social landscape is changing, and especially the effects and the consequences of the global warming are visible in the Arctics. And therefore, the Arctic Council has been recently replaced with Arctic League. It's a new form of alliance that includes new members, mainly the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations of different profiles. And you actually will be, in a moment, will be representatives of different bodies that form the Arctic League. The Arctic League is a very international body, so it needs special communication tools. And Piotr just invited you to join the Impacts platform. It's a communication tool designed especially for the members of Arctic League. It may look vaguely familiar. It's inspired by Facebook or Twitter, so we hope you'll find your way around very quickly and easily. And this is where we will communicate, and you will be able to decide about the future of the Arctic and maybe the future of the world.
Thank you. So I hope by now we have more and more people who are signed up. Please, if you have any issues already connected with this platform, well, you know how is it with software developers. There are always some problems, and this is an international organization. It's not like private entity, which is also not always working so well, or has very different kind of problems, as we all well know. But if you click on the messages icon, there is an icon with an envelope on the right-hand side. You will be able to see the help chat that you'll be able to access. So if you have any questions, our colleague, Timothy Geiger, will be guiding you and helping and providing any necessary support. So please, please use it. And if you, for any reason, cannot get in on the platform, please write here on the Zoom chat. And I hope that my colleagues will be able to handle this somehow. So we still give maybe now 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to get there. And quite soon we will start going because, well, the life is busy. There are so many different meetings. And this is just one of the many that you are doing in this 2034. So if you are already on the platform and you didn't have a chance to read the materials before, one of the most important things for you will be clicking on your background information for your role. So maybe you had just been assigned as a diplomat to this Arctic League, representing your country or organization. And of course, there are some expectations from you, from your country organization. So if you, in the right, top right corner, if you click on your logo of your organization or the name, you will be able to get to and read the profile if you haven't done yet. So please update yourself with this. And yes, so there is, there is a proposition that I share my screen. Thank you. So that might be handy, actually. So let me do this right now. Can I get a brief confirmation if my screen is visible, the Impacts platform? Thank you. So with this, what I was talking here was that here is the messages icon with the envelope where you can go and seek for help, or you can click on this icon, which is your logo of your organization or this name, and this will take you to the background information about your profile. So here is nothing, but in each of your organizations, that should be information, what is expected of you. And please remember that you are seasoned diplomats, and you can look at what is expected, but eventually you will be making all decisions which will be decisions of your own. Okay, so I hope with this we can slowly move on. If by any chance you don't have all this information, you can relate to this later. And just, well, that happens in many jobs. You've been assigned, you didn't have a time to read your brief, no problem. Just move on, just to try to do the best, what you think or feel is the best for your country, is the best for your organization, or best for the Arctic. That's all up to you. So right now we are going to watch the news. So I hope we were able to see some of the Arctic background. I would like to welcome again all Arctic League members. And right now, very soon on the home feed, so please very much click the home, and you can already see that there is a news from Arctic Wire. Arctic Wire is kind of internal news service, which will be helping you to get some important information from around the world, also feedback. And right now they have collected some important news. So there is a link to the YouTube, which I would like you now all open. So in the same way I'm clicking on this, it should open in the new tab, the new window, and then please just click and watch it. I recommend that you watch it full screen. There's some important information. And once you're done, we will continue. Okay, I hope everyone was able to finish. Sorry if I still interrupted at the last part. We're not synchronizing this perfectly. We wanted to give everyone the chance to watch it fully without interruptions from Zoom. Okay, so as you can see, the world continues to surprise us, and maybe for some of you it's not really a surprise, but the pressure on the Arctic trading route is increasing, and the reasons are very, very clear and interconnected. The cascading climate impacts were hitting, and at this point, Arctic may be the victim of the climate change, but Arctic may be also the hope for restoring some of the balance in other areas like economy, also the social issues. So how are you going to deal with this? So right now, I would like to ask you, we have several posts on our home feed, and just as a very short on-the-spot training of how to use this platform, I will share my screen again. And just one moment, yes. And I would like you to see, actually, if I scroll down below the video, you can see some of the posts which has been pasted, which you've seen in the video. So what I would like you to do now, everyone, just to learn how to use this platform, all these posts, you can put comments. So if you go below any post which captures your attention, click on the comment below, and then you are able to write an actual comment. So I'm not going to do this myself because there's you who are supposed to do this. Please add any short comment that you want. It doesn't have to be very informative yet. You're just still learning, but we would like you to start using the platform now. So I give you up to 1 minute for writing this. Don't think too much. There will come the challenges that you will really need to go deeper. And as you're doing this, when you finish, you will need to scroll up, because very soon there will be another, this time rather short video, which will present you the next step, how the process, how this meeting of all the Arctic League members will look like. So once you finish commenting, please scroll on top. Let me cancel here the post. And there is a new video, this time shorter, which is called Working Groups Overview, which I would like you now to click. And it should again open in the new window. And it will give you some sense and direction what will be happening, what will be expected of you during this, this Arctic League meeting.
Meanwhile, I see that the shipping chamber started commenting. Some members of the Sweden committee also greet us. Please comment on the posts that draw your attention.
Fantastic. I'm glad that it's already engaging you. Right now, let's give ourselves all some 2 more minutes to, or actually it's less than 1 minute, to watch the second video. Okay, thank you for this hint. That's second video. I hope you were able to go through. Sorry again if interrupting. I have issues with synchronizing, but we are glad that you can watch it, full quality and know what to do. So the video, if you weren't able to finish, the most important announcement and the next steps are there, also posted on the home feed on our main homepage. So we'll be able to move with this. And together with Jana, will be explaining all the steps that you need to take. So even if you didn't watch it fully, we still got you. So right now, there is the next step, which is maybe the most difficult part. We're coming now to the core of what this simulation will be about. So you already know you're representing different countries and organizations in the Arctic League. You know that each of you represents one of the ministries or departments in this organization. And we have these 3 working teams on economy, on society, and environment. Right now, you should be able to see in the menu, let me again do the screen sharing here. So you should be able to see the new menu position, which is called policies. If you don't see, please click the refresh button in your browser and you should be able to see. And this link, when you click on this, will take you to the background document. So you will see something different that I will see because I see all 3 background documents for all 3 groups. But when you click on this link, you will see only one which is relevant for your working group that you will be engaged. So I would like to ask you now to click on this policies, refresh your browser if needed, and you get the link to this document that will present you the information that you will need to make a decision in your working group. So that's important that you know what is decided. And one last thing for you to inform that Arctic League has a special department called Legal and Technical Committee. And some people complain that they have too much influence, but that's the reality. So you cannot choose any policies you want. You will only be able to follow the policies which has been pre-prepared by them. Of course, you can complain, but you know it's hard with this old international bureaucracy to move on. So for the moment, please take your time, read this document to get prepared for negotiations, for meetings, for getting the interest or maybe the mission that you have to be actually working for the Arctic. As you're reading, let me remind you that the help desk is available. If you have any questions, whether this is technical question or maybe you have a question about the policy options that you're reading about, you can go to the help desk. You can click on the messages icon, and there is one channel which is called help desk, where you can get answers to any questions. Feel free to use it. And if you finish early and you're ready, you can also write here even on Zoom chat to let us know that we can move on. We don't want to leave anyone behind. But at the same time, of course, the time is limited. So at one point I will interrupt and we will be moving on. Okay, I see some people already ready. We give maybe 1 more minute to finish this reading. So for some of you, this may be something which is already you know very well, all these issues. For others, it may be something somehow new. But let's make sure that everyone is on top. You can always come back to this point and refer to this document. Clicking on policies will get you there. And if you forgot something you don't have to memorize, it will be there for your reference. Okay, so as I said, if you still need some time, you can refer back to this. But for the moment, we are going to do the next step. So right now, I assume that you have at least some of the background which is needed to make this, to develop and send recommendations to the legal and technical committee in which directions to follow. Each of you is assigned to one of the groups. But we give you now some time, since all of you belong to some country, representing some country, or to the organization. So I would like you all to click on messages. That's what I have just clicked right now. And in this messages window, you don't see that many messages that I have here, but you will get, each of you will get a special message with your country. So you can see your country, click on this, and there you see the invitation for discussion from the Arctic League, and there is also the message from advisors to your country. So this advice that you will receive is an advice that you can take and follow, or you can ignore. But right now, what I would like to ask you is to read this advice and then make a discussion. So here you can see, you can type a message, and with this message, you can discuss only within your country group. So Arctic League has organized this chat room, but Arctic League is confirming that no information will go beyond this chat room. So please, you can discuss within your country, discuss your strategy. Do you want to follow the advisors? Do you want to make a different strategy? How are you going to do this? Do you want to create maybe separate meetings with other countries? Or maybe you want to separate and each of you try to create a separate channel? For this, we'll be using these messages. You can start after this discussion the new messages. But for the moment, please start from reading your advisor messages and having a discussion within your country or organization. And again, with any problems, please, you have the chat with help desk also on your chat rooms, so you can always check with Tim if you have any questions. And of course, we also welcome here on the Zoom chat if there are any comments or suggestions for us. We don't see you. This is a little bit more challenge to run this kind of simulation at a distance, so we appreciate any feedback. How can we make it easier for you as we go? So the situation may develop differently. It might be that you are very well agreeing within your country, or it may be that you have some internal discussions that Department of Economy may have different opinions than Department of Environment. But you don't have much time, and it is probably important for you to improve the chances to affect the final outcome, to get some agreement with which you can reach out and try to seek for coalitions, try to seek for allies, maybe try to make some deals, with the other countries, as some of advisors may be suggesting. So whenever you're ready with your internal discussion, if you feel, you can use this time because, well, the time is very precious. We don't have it that much. And maybe try to reach out to other organizations. And you can do this in two ways. So one possibility is that if you want to establish a kind of diplomatic chat room, you can go to help desk and ask team saying, well, all representatives of Iceland want to talk to all representatives of Norway. And then a team will help you to create the new chat room, which you can use. Or you can create it actually on your own. And let me show you how it works. It's again similar to what you've seen in probably in Facebook, that you can click this button here, which is next to the messages on the left. And when I click it, there is a new message in which I can type names. So here, let's say that I want to talk to India. And I can see India and all the departments show up. Please try not to address advisors. They are rather passive. They send their advice, but you can address anyone, for example, India economy. And I may want to create another person from another country about economy, let's say that also China. So this would be the kind of this would be a different way to create so here's the China economy, and I can have them too. So it's up to you who you will have in your new chat room. It can be very small, it can be bigger. And if it's not so easy for you, please go to the help desk and team will create this specific chat message for you. Once it's created, of course, you can do what advisors are telling you to go and offer special deals, or you can also create a chat of your own. Or maybe if you don't want to be too active internationally, you can still continue your internal discussion as a country organization. That is all up to you. So let me remind you that the advice is for you only an advice. You do not have to follow this.
And for those of you who are still exploring the existing functions, the original conversations that you are already assigned to are within your country or within your organization, and there should be 3 of you in each of those.
Yes, so we are now in this time, then we are preparing for the big working group meetings with many delegates at the same time. But before this big working group meeting starts, this is your chance. Go and ask other people to vote what is important for you, for your country, for your organization. Try to persuade them. Try to make some deal. I hope, this will allow better decision to be made, better recommendation at the end. And again, we very much appreciate this. Hope the learning curve will be fast. We're asking you a lot. You just joined and learning completely new platform. If you lost, please, in your chat rooms, there is the help desk, which you can get any support that you would like to get. Okay, I hope the discussion is still going well. Not sure if you managed to achieve what you want, what kind of agreements, what kind of coalitions has been built so far. We'll give you still some time, but slowly we'll be heading towards the working group meetings. The working group meetings will be done in these 3 topics: economy, society, and environment. And I will explain in a moment, but I give you still some last minutes to maybe close any negotiations that you are engaged right now. I wish you all the best. I really hope that you manage to get it, that will be successful, however you define your success. Okay, hello again. That might be still some interesting and very important conversations might be going, but I would like to announce that the next step, that the working group meetings will start now. So if you can handle 2 things at the same time, it's absolutely okay to keep your back channel talking and communication within your country, maybe with some other potential allies. But right now, I would like to ask everyone to join the working group meetings. And it works like this, and you can look at the Zoom, I'm sharing my screen, that we have the new position in the menu called meetings. If you don't see this, click on home or impacts first, and then you will see this, or refresh the browser. And when you click on this meetings, it will take you to one of the working groups. So what I will see here when I click, it will be 3 different groups, but you will be taken directly to the group where you need to go. So for example, if you are in environment working group, which I'm clicking right now, you will see the screen that will be a discussion group. And since now we have the bigger group, it's between 15 and 20 people there, this is no longer a chat, which can be very chaotic, but there is here a discussion forum again. So you can write new posts, you can write new posts, you can write comments to the posts discussing, and different posts may mean different discussion threads. So please use this time now to, before we get to the final recommendations, which will be done as a poll to the legal and technical committee of the Arctic League, you still have a final chance in your working group to persuade other members of the working group to some direction and discussion. So again, in the menu, click on the meetings and go to your working group, one of the 3, and try to engage in a discussion there. If during this discussion you need to consult something with your colleagues from departments from the same country organization, you can always go to messages and continue discussion there. You can also see in this notification that new messages has arrived, so you can respond to this. But please focus your energy on the working group right now, since this is now coming the most important moment in the whole thing, that you will be expressing your recommendations, which will shape what will eventually become a new Arctic Treaty. With any problems, with any issues, please go to help desk again.
And I'd like to remind you that it's not only the Arctic Treaty, it may actually affect the future of the whole world, because the Arctic is a part of an interconnected system, and you're all aware that it relates to the economy, the environment, and the society all over the world. So don't skip this opportunity to make a real impact on the world.
Thank you for this reminder. It's actually, yeah, the eyes of the whole world are now turned into the Arctic League session that you are in, and they awaiting what will come out of this, actually, how it will affect the world. All these events in Suez Canal, in Panama Canal, are putting the big pressure on the global trade. But of course, there is Arctic environment. How it will be balanced? What will you choose? What will you recommend? The Arctic Wire, the internal kind of news information system on this platform, will be giving you from time to time some feedback on what world thinks about what you're doing, what you're choosing. But first, please have this discussion, please, and soon we'll get to the recommendations. There's sometimes maybe some technical issues, some delays. If you see that like there is no new content coming your way, it might be that you need to do the refresh. So either click on the home or just refresh your browser and you might be able to see some new messages. Okay, I hope the discussion are very productive and that you use this time effectively to make sure that there would be the best choice. I'm just wondering what is happening. Joanna, have you been able to see any discussions in some groups?
Yes, I've been following the economy group, and it seems that there is quite a lively discussion about the future of the shipping routes as they affect the global economy, and the consequences of the current crisis for transporting goods are affecting quite distant regions of the world. So some actors indicate that it should be a priority to open the transborder sea routes. Although there are some concerns about what should be transported, because goods like chemicals or fossil fuels are too dangerous, perhaps. So there is some tension there. Interesting discussion.
I was wondering, I mean, these global connections are very important, but is the environment also, is it connected somehow? That's interesting, you know, what will come up of this. We'll see. We'll see. It's all in your hands, and not only for the countries involved, but for the whole world. So we'll be slowly moving to the next step when we'll give you one more minute to one last try to get any persuasion that you might need for your cause. And then we will move to actual expressing the recommendation, which will be, we put the polls that you will be able to feel which directions you would like the Arctic League to decide. But still one last minute to make some good arguments. Okay, thank you very much for your engagement. I think it's looking, it's a very intensive discussion that we have. And as you could maybe probably also noticed, that there is a poll already up in the groups. Please refresh the website if you don't see this yet. So the polls should be actually on top. I'm just checking also with our technical support for the Arctic League. How is it going? Maybe actually I went ahead, but very soon it should be there. Okay, wonderful. So this is your chance now to express your vote. You can continue discussing, but the voting starts now, and make sure that you vote before continuing the discussion.
I'd like to remind you that your decisions will have consequences in the short time perspective, but also in the long-term perspective. And they're not only about the Arctics, they are about the whole world.
And just update here that some more time is needed. So that's, I guess the polls are already visible in a social group, right, Joanna? That you've seen them. Please wait for the other groups in the environment groups. Our technical team is still preparing the polls. I should appear any moment. I'm not sure about economy.
Economy is there already. I can see them.
Okay, so please, I would like to ask for patience. The environment group, it should come any moment. Don't leave your group. It's coming there. Our technical team is working very intensively. It should appear there any moment, and we'll let you know. In the meantime, use this time to continue discussion. Okay, right now, sorry for this delay, the environment group can vote too. So all the groups has their polls, and please express your recommendation. And again, I already heard some complaint that legal and technical committee is too rigid, and you're not even sure what they do with recommendations, but we will see. And well, in the conversation, they told us that they will do their best to include the recommendations as they are. So right now, each of the groups has these two issues to vote, and please vote on both issues. And when you're ready, please move to the home page where we will have the final discussion. Well, maybe not final, because there will be still a few things going on, but there will be a discussion which will put together all the recommendations from all working groups together, and we will see where these recommendations are heading. Where is Arctic League? Where's the Arctic actually going to go for the future? What have you decided? So I want to welcome you to do the voting, do this as soon as possible right now, so that we can close the polls and start counting the votes and announce the results. And as we all know, counting the votes is not an easy thing, you know, in many ways. So when you come back to the home feed, maybe we could, you might already start discussions. There's been a very intensive process, and while we are waiting, I would like to encourage all of you to write maybe the new post, maybe to comment on existing posts. How do you see the situation? Was it a fair process? Are you satisfied with what you think managed to achieve? I mean, we still don't know the results, but somehow I'm wondering, could it be done differently? Were the issues comprehensive? So all kinds of questions. We welcome you to express the opinions. And as soon as we have the results of the voting, they will be pasted on the home feed. So we all will be able to see. And as I said, the whole world is watching. Many journalists are kind of waiting to write the new articles about these results. So yeah, they trust you made a good decision.
Yeah, when I was following the discussions, I could see some good arguments, and maybe it's worthwhile to share your main points with the wider public, because this is what gets into the press. So please make sure that the press gets good arguments and understands your point of view.
I hope all of you had the chance to vote. It looks like we may miss some people expressing their recommendations, so there's a last chance to actually do this. And in 30 seconds, we'll be closing the polls. If you haven't voted yet, if you didn't click there, please remember, or maybe that might be the problem, that when you vote, you have to select the choice and there is a submit button below this polls. So please remember to click submit so that we can see all the results. if we have any problems with the voting, actually, if you still weren't able to get your poll, please let us know. And help desk is all the time open, so you can always also ask for help there. And we started counting the votes, so very soon we should have
So guys, what are your hopes for the outcome on the trading routes?
looks like we still be waiting for results, which is the most important. Everyone is hoping to see. Let's
Okay, we see some comments indicating that you're hoping for a precautionary approach. Anyone in favor of other solutions?
Okay, we finally start results coming. Sorry for Jana for interrupting, but I think this is something which everyone was waiting for. Please click on home or refresh. And there is a first results from the economy working group. So there's been, there's the second one, but let me start from the first, which is below. So there's been a question about the safety vessels for transitioning through the Arctic. And there's been 3 options, and that has been decided that it should be keeping the existing safety requirements. So neither increase nor decrease. I guess there's been 2 ways of going into this. On the one hand, we'll have less ice, which means that this will be kind of safer. On the other hand, there may be completely new weather patterns which may require, but I think everyone was here conservative. Not everyone, but the majority was conservative and said, well, what we have is fine, and it's a kind of compromise. So that's one thing which will be going to the Arctic League. The second results from economy group is the maybe the one which could be kind of most important, whether we have the new transpolar sea route, or it should be used maybe more of the existing Northwest Passage and Northeast Passage to use. And this is interesting. We have equal number of recommendations going both directions. So I guess it will be up to Legal and Technical Committee, our LTC, to decide actually how to take it into the treaty proposition. It doesn't seem to be recommendation very clear. It shows how difficult the topic also is. Okay, what should we go next? Maybe to society. Jana, would you be ready to let us know the results from the society? I know you've been observing this group.
Yes, let me see for the society. So, yeah. So the majority of voters, and that's by far, that's almost 78%, voted that there should be an Arctic tax that will be created to redistribute the share of the revenues from the Arctic shipping. So all vessels and their cargo transiting through the Arctic will be taxed, and the revenue will be transferred to Arctic indigenous communities across the region. And that's the recommendation for the Arctic Treaty. We'll see if it's adopted. The second question was a lot more ambiguous, let's say, and we have almost equal recommendations for regulating the cruise tourism industry. There is about 35% of votes to limit the size of cruise ships allowed in the Arctic. Some 28% voted in favor of a tourism tax for cruise ships, so yet another tax. And 35% of recommendations towards mandatory social responsibility reports for every single Arctic cruise ship company. So there is no clear winner here. So we'll see what be included in the treaty.
Thank you very much. And finally, the results for environment. So there is one question about developing and further expanding the framework for an Arctic network of marine protected areas. And that's the majority. 10 delegates were in favor and 1 was against. So that's very clear recommendation that marine protected area in the Arctic should be expanded. And it also goes together with this ban on the transit of dangerous chemicals and fossil fuels in the Arctic. So environment group was very strong and clear on the recommendations. So yeah, and as we need to move on rather quickly right now, since the time is kind of, our time is coming to an end for this meeting, but Joanna, could you comment also shortly? I see there's some interesting word responses, the news from different to this voting.
Oh, the headlines are hot, and it seems that the business sector is not very happy with the recommendations. The headlines are screaming about the Arctic League punishing entrepreneurs, choosing animals over humans, so we expect that it's going to be a lot of criticisms toward the recommendations from more business-oriented actors, global actors. How will it end? It's wow, it's going to be quite a debate.
It is, but I'm just wondering that critics are always more vocal than supporters. So maybe this Arctic League chooses animals over humans. Maybe this is just some who are very vocal, but not necessarily represent the majority. We will see. In any case, this is now all going to the legal and technical committee. You can scroll through all the results. You can see also scroll through the headlines, responses. You can comment on this. You can start discussion. And in the meantime, well, not so much in the meantime, but things are also happening in the world. So while you have a chance to put some comments to these results, and for which we recommend that you do, I would like to actually ask our internal communication department, the Arctic Wire, to give us some more news from the world. There's been actually very dramatic news. As all this was happening, all these recommendations, time flows fast, and we are in 2036. So while the Arctic Treaty is being prepared, we have some dramatic things happening in the Arctic, actually, which became global news. So very soon, you should be able to see the new video, which will be posted by our Arctic Wire, that will give us some information about this, what happened. Well, in the meantime, before it comes, and I will let you know, we can still see the results and headlines.
Actually, Piotr, it's not just breaking news. It may actually change everything.
You may be very right. Yes. So the Arctic Wire has just published, and let's see. We'll see also how it affects the decision of the legal and technical committee. So right now, if you refresh on the homepage, on the top, you should be able to see one last video. Please click on this and open this and watch it, and we'll give you some time for this.
This may actually lead to a crash of the whole route.
Well, we'll see how the world will take it. Is it going to be like another Fukushima, or maybe people just say, well, this is exceptional situations, and we have the technology to handle this. We can improve it. We'll not know, but let's see how the legal and technical committee is preparing now the final treaty, which has been based, hopefully, on the recommendations, sometimes very strong recommendations, sometimes not so strong, distributed evenly. But it's time for us to see now on our portal. So I will, again, our technical support staff has now prepared the final treaty. And either you can see this on the menu, or you can actually refresh, and then you will see there is last menu position called treaty. And if you click on this, it will take you to the actual treaty. So you can have a look. And this is, we coming to the last part. The treaty is called, and maybe this is promising, the Treaty for Sustainable Arctic. And you can see below, and also visually represented, what kind of choice has been eventually made. And we would like everyone now to comment on the home feed. How do you feel about it? Is it expressing what you really hope for? Is it fair? Is it inclusive for all the Arctic League members, or maybe even beyond for the world? What do you think about it? So we'll give you now 2 minutes to look at this treaty and put your comments, and then we conclude. I just also noted that the interesting discussion is happening not only on impacts, but also here on Zoom. So we like to use the tools that we know. But it's good to know you will look at all these discussions there. We will really appreciate if you could paste your comments still as a representative of your country organization on the home feed. How do you evaluate, how do you assess this treaty which came out? Well, the Arctic League, as we have heard, is quite aware that this is just the beginning of the work, that the issues of trade, the issues of tourism, the issue of environmental protections are not all the issues which need to be discussed. We have a big issue of, if we talk about natural resources, about living renewable resources, about the fishing, how it will be affected. There was no chance to discuss on this meeting. We have the big topic of the natural resources, like all the potentially metals, oil, which may be discovered in the Arctic. And this is also haven't been discussed yet. So the Arctic Treaty will continue to be developed. Finally, there are all kinds of military tensions which exist in the Arctic and which are not there yet. And what other issues do you think should be discussed as a part of this Arctic Treaty? So as we come to the closure of this wonderful meeting, maybe very tense, we would like to thank you for the participation. And we also get the one last video, which you can watch when we finish, which asks some questions about the Arctic future. But before we leave, we would like maybe to ask for some comments, questions.
Yeah, I'd like all of you to get back to the Zoom chat and get out of the of this fictitious world that we created, so that we can share our lesson that we learned. Please type in, all of you, one thing that you discovered during this simulation, your one small or big discovery, and maybe one or two of you would like to share it with us by voice. One small or big discovery that you made during our simulation, please.
And since usually in these situations, it's still fresh, so it's not that many people jumping immediately. So you can just do this and jump and start talking, or you can raise your hand. I'm trying to look at the participants list to make sure, but I suggest that if you have some interesting things to share with the whole group. We didn't have much chance to talk together, so this is maybe the only during this session as people, not as characters in the simulation. So please feel free to talk. Please remember to unmute yourself.
I see some of you are already typing. Some of your insights include that it reflects the need to have a process that's iterative with opportunity to develop new options as discussions unfold. Some of you loved the videos. Thank you. We are very happy that they were helping you to get into the world and then feel the issue. Some of you noticed that everyone had their own values and that they may not always reconcile with the values or needs of the other actors. And that was a bit of our intention with this simulation, to actually confront you with this reality.
I'm happy to see that someone wrote about nicely illustrated complexity of issues as situation change. That was also the intention, to actually get participants into this complex situation, not only analytically, but also with to feel what's happening.
And an important conclusion that it's very hard to make all of the players involved happy with the outcome and the final treaty.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have an intention to put this here as an ideal process. Our intention was more of to represent how the real process looked like, and this can be the basis for the discussion. How could we improve it here? How could we improve it also in the real world, of course, then? So it's 3 minutes past 4, and the conference just starts. It's early in the morning, I guess, in EST time. So we very much appreciate you getting up early to attend this session. And we want to give you some chance to have a coffee, which you might need very much. So we won't keep you longer. Again, thank you again, everyone, for this big engagement here. And I'm not sure, unless our host is ask us to leave. we will still stay for a few minutes in case you have some questions you would like to discuss or share something. Then you're more than welcome.
Yeah, and I encourage you to read the chat and the opinions that people shared. They're interesting lessons.
Finally, thank you very much for the organizers here, for both the ISSP Institute in Ottawa and also IIASA in Vienna that has been behind all this, made this possible. We're also very happy on behalf of the Center for System Solutions to run it. It was great to work with these fantastic partners to make this experience possible.
Quickly, Piotr, I feel like I remember you mentioning that you were going to try and perhaps send up a follow-up questionnaire for the participants. So perhaps we should mention it now. Thank you, Nicole. Yes, so you've seen the link that has been sent on behalf of the organizers of the conference about the feedback for the session. So I don't want to add this immediately to you now, but yeah, we will follow up on the email addresses of those who registered, asking you to give us feedback on the simulation. We would very, very much appreciate it. We're still developing, building this simulation approach, and that we always try to improve and make it better. So your feedback, your suggestions would be more than welcome. Very, very valuable for us. So Nicole, Monica, is there anything else to add?
Go ahead, Nicole. Why don't you start and I can add.
I was just going to say thank you, everybody, for participating. We hope you enjoyed the science policy simulation. I was following the feeds and the discussions, and so there seemed to be some very active participants in there. And we hope to be able to do this again sometime. As Monica mentioned, I hope this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and we can find other ways to bring science policy simulations to the science policy community, be that the Canadian science policy community or broadly more internationally. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you all in the future.
Yeah, no, I would just echo what Nicole has said. I think there are some really interesting opportunities for us to continue this collaboration to the benefit of many. And I did also want to a special thank you to Nicole, who pulled all of these various partners in crime together, and to Piotr and team at CRS, who did an absolutely phenomenal job of tailoring the simulation to more to a Canadian context and to an Arctic context. And I think as many people are noting in their comments, we wish we all would have had more time for this. Normally these simulations run for a longer period of time. So stay tuned. If we're able to continue collaborating on this going forward, I think we can take what we've learned here and offer an even richer experience next time. So thanks to all.
Okay, and if you want to see, there's one final short video with the kind of summary or questions for the future. They should still be appeared on the home feed in 1 minute. So whoever wants, you like the videos, one more coming for you as a dessert. Thank you very much again, and yeah, see you on the next simulation or another session at the CSPC conference. Thank you very much for the conference organizers for allowing us to do this, and have a very good day, everyone.